Discourse, power and knowledge, dispositive, panopticon, biopower. Of course, we are talking about French intellectual and historian Michel Foucault. Although he may be famous for the sometimes rather obscure theories that are so influential in contemporary social science, today we are going to explore a lesser known side of Foucault's philosophy, his methodology, aka what he calls genealogy. A lot of Foucault's genealogy comes from the work of Friedrich Nietzsche and his idea of time and history. First of all, Nietzsche rejects the idea of history as a linear path followed by a rational man that is going after some kind of rational and absolute truth. Rather, Nietzsche considered history as the product of irrationality and accidents and chaos. Foucault's view of history is actually not that different. He sets apart what he calls effective history from classical or traditional history. The focus of it is critique, indeed. According to Foucault, classical historians see history as a straight line where progress is necessary in a chronological sequence. Foucault intends history as developed in strands that bracketed by changes in understanding of reality and shift in discourses. In order to visualize it, you should think about, in fact, traditional history as a line and genealogy or effective history as a number of strands branching out, each representing anthropic evolution of a discourse. Surely there is a bit more to it than just shapes and directions. Traditional history is in fact somewhat theological, metaphysical, logical and linear, of course, according to Foucault. It is concerned with placing beginnings and ends in a historical continuum. It identifies human history as the history of progress, be it scientific, technological, philosophical, and so on. In other words, according to traditional history, we are living in the best possible present that is undoubtedly better than its immediate or remote past. This is what Foucault calls the bourgeois myth of progress. Genealogy is instead concerned not with the history of the origins, but with the history of discourse formation, of the emergence of certain regimes of truth. Such truth is by no means absolute, as we've seen, but a sort of truth that is specific to a certain strand and valid in a given historical bracket. Most importantly, in Foucault's own words, genealogy does not resemble the evolution of a species and does not map the destiny of a people. Foucault's method is far away removed from any messianic or prophetic sort of promises of progress. Instead, he stresses that, for example, 20th century Europe actually de-evolved compared to the previous century. All of this begs the question, why is this method still important? We can see Foucault's anti-traditionalist approach to history in his Madness and Civilization, or The Birth of the Clinic, or even History of Sexuality. In each of these books, Foucault challenges a specific assumption, respectively the positivity of contemporary psychiatry, medicine, or sexual customs. In all three cases, he argues how contemporary regimes of truth about each of these spheres, each of these topics, are not more progressive today than in the past. For example, the exclusion of the insane from wider society, locked up in an institution and unable to be reintegrated, is in stark contrast with the treatment of madness in previous centuries. The same goes for the perception of homosexuality. Widespread custom in Greek and Roman times, a deviance in our contemporaneity, despite people claim to be sexually liberated. Foucault's idea of genealogy is providing a vision of history that breaks away from a cause and effect sort of relation. Rather, it focuses on casual and accidental shifting of power relation as engine of history, on regimes of truth as timely historical, different from each other in essence, but not in quality. In last analysis, the methodological importance of Foucault's genealogy really lies in its encouragement to reconsider and challenge and destructure not only remote and near history, but also our immediate reality.